16. Basic probability. Goals for this lesson. 1. I understand the idea of probability, and 2. I can calculate probability. So this lesson might be a little bit harder just because it's a little bit abstract. By abstract, I mean it's not like, oh, I can count up on my fingers, and sometimes it can be a little bit harder to understand concepts that are more like in your brain, if that makes sense. So basically, with probability, it basically measures what the outcome is of something happening. So measure of chance so probability is the measure of chance of something happening. So that's worded a little bit confusingly. I would say it just measures what is the likelihood of some outcome. So say we have this coin, and for heads I'm going to put a little star, and for tails I'm going to put a square. So there are two possible outcomes. By two possible outcomes, I mean one thing can happen, which is 1 heads and 2 tails. Right? So say I flip the coin 1 time, right? So I did something 1 time. And we can agree there's 2 possible outcomes. So the chance of something happening is 1/2. Okay. So probability measures the chance of something happening. Okay, so now say I have my same coin, star and square. Say that I flip it 2 times. So I'm flipping the coin 2 times, right? Okay. So each time I flip the coin, there's 2 possible outcomes, right? So I can either get star or square. I'm just going to denote them star or square without the coin. Star or square. Okay. So I'm top is the amount of times I'm doing something. Out of the ways it can go. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is that, okay, we're flipping the coin 2 times. So we have 2 over all the possible outcomes. So one outcome, we can get star or square, and then another outcome, we can get star or square. Now let's count all these guys up. So what we're saying here is that 2 out of 4 is the probability of getting either 1 or 2. So heads or tails, which equals 1/2. So whenever you're flipping a coin, there's always 1 out of 2 possibilities, unless you have a 3-sided coin, which I don't think exist. But let's try something else. Okay, so now let's say that I have a 6-sided dice. Remember those typical dice that you would play with? One of those guys. Oop. Not very good at drawing shapes sometimes, so just standard dice. And we're going to say that there's an equal possibility of anything happening. So remember what we said, amount of times over possible outcomes. Okay, so we're going to roll the dice 1 time. So if we roll the dice 1 time, how many outcomes are there? We can get 1, right? You can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6. Okay, so we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So the possible outcomes is 6. So the probability of us rolling any of these outcomes is going to be 1 over 6. So the possibility of us getting 1 is 1 over 6. The possibility of us getting 2 is 1 over 6, and so forth. All right, let's mix it up a little bit. Say we want to figure out what is the outcome or what is the probability of the outcome we either get 2 or 4. 2 or 4. So what we want is we want 2 of the numbers. So this is where we cannot use our amount of times over possible outcomes. So we're going to revamp our definition so it seems a little better and we can use it more universally. So number of wanted outcomes over possible outcomes. So say we just want 2 of these. We want to roll just 2 of these numbers, right? So we just want 2 wanted outcomes over 6, which gives us 1 over 3.